Oh, Caitlin Clark, obviously one of, if not the biggest draw in women's basketball. Obviously the biggest draw in women's basketball. I don't know what we're talking about. One of the biggest draws in basketball. One of the biggest draws in sports right now. And I'm not the only person who's saying this. Bill Simmons has also come out and said something very, very...
The worst dread of the NBA has now come true. The numbers don't lie. A 22-year-old rookie is shattering every professional basketball viewership record after Bill Simmons released a bombshell that has the whole basketball world uneasy. Not only is Caitlin Clark surpassing WNBA players in popularity, but she is also more well-liked than any NBA player under 30. Now, WNBA officials are in a panic as their worst nightmare comes to pass because of what Simmons revealed next, which would permanently alter basketball.
Is Caitlin Clark a bigger under 30 star than any under 30 star in the NBA?
By a country mile. The biggest star under 30 in the NBA right now.
What's crazy is that the NBA and WNBA believed they had everything worked out, including their stars, their system, and their methods of operation, until Bill Simmons revealed a shocking revelation that completely altered the landscape. Believe me, what I'm about to share isn't just another trendy opinion. It's supported by data that is keeping basketball executives up at night.
Might be Wembanyama. It might be, I'm trying to think. It could be Wemby. It could be Ant. It could be LaMelo. None of them are bigger stars than Caitlin Clark. Absolutely none of them. I think Wemby might be the only one who's in the top 5 in jersey sales. The biggest stars in the NBA are still LeBron and Steph, and honestly, Caitlin Clark might be a bigger star at this point in time than both of them.
Take a listen. Bill Simmons stated unequivocally that Caitlin Clark is a bigger star than any player under 30 in the NBA. Not just some of them, not most of them, and the numbers actually support him. Let me explain. When Caitlin Clark played Illinois, the crowds were enormous, and then you look at South Carolina, which is ostensibly the biggest thing in women's college basketball right now, playing their biggest game of the year. You want to know how many people watched a quarter of Clark's game? That's not a typo, it's not an exaggeration, it's the real deal.
I think she is.
Absolutely.
Too. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't even think that's a debate.
Her stardom, in a way, it has changed many conversations about sports, I feel like, especially women's sports.
I literally did not care about women's college basketball 10 years ago in any way, shape, or form. So I think some things have moved toward just the quality to play is more fun to watch, but she seems to be some sort of catalyst that is just, it's like before and after, and now we're in the after.
However, this is where things start to get truly intriguing. Bill Simmons brought up a topic that no one wants to discuss. The NBA has a major young star problem. Consider the last time a rookie entered the league and became an instant superstar. I'm talking about an all-star level, must-watch TV kind of star. You can't think of one recently, right? That's because it hasn't happened since 2014. Let's examine the data since 2014. How many rookies should be named all-stars? Simmons. Ben, perhaps Luka Doncic was passed over, but if Zion had remained healthy, he would have made it. 3 names in 10 years, while Caitlin Clark enters the WNBA and instantly becomes the most talked-about basketball player. Some may argue, but what about the NBA's established young stars? Alright, let's discuss them. Wembanyama may be the biggest NBA star under 30 right now, and while he is amazing, is he making a difference like Clark? Are casual fans who had never watched basketball before becoming fans? The numbers say no, but here's what's really amazing about all of this. Clark isn't just popular, she's changing the way people watch basketball. Before her, most people couldn't care less about women's college basketball. Now, people plan their schedules around her games, purchase tickets months in advance, and wear her jersey everywhere. When Clark first joined the WNBA, everyone questioned whether she would be able to handle the professional level. Not only did she handle it well, but she also finished 4th in the MVP voting as a rookie. Let that sink in. What a slow start meant for Clark was that she continued to score 30 points against the Sparks and hit back-to-back 30-footers to win games. The most amazing thing is that after those first few games, she wasn't just good. She was arguably the best player in the entire WNBA. Bill Simmons truly revealed how the whole basketball scene is altering the structure of the WNBA, not simply how popular Clark is. This is where it gets really interesting for the future of basketball. The NBA's model of 82 games with players sometimes barely trying during regular season matches is starting to look outdated, while the WNBA's more condensed schedule is creating must-watch moments every single week. In contrast, NBA players are taking load management nights and playing endless regular season games that nobody cares about, while WNBA players are giving it their all every single night. Each game means less when there are 82 games plus playoffs, but when the schedule is shorter, every game counts and every matchup is important. When you combine that with a generational talent like Caitlin Clark, you have something truly unique. But here's what's really keeping basketball executives up at night. This phenomenon is not merely transitory. Not only is Clark having a moment, but she is also revealing basic facts about what basketball fans truly desire. Meaningful games, players who give their all, and real stars who relate to them personally. What's most intriguing about all of this is how Clark developed her fanbase in contrast to NBA rookies, who frequently enter the league as relative unknowns. During her undergraduate years, Clark built a sizable fan base as people observed her progress and triumphs. By the time she reached the WNBA, she wasn't just another rookie, she was already a household name. Let's talk about what's really happening here, because this gets even more interesting. Remember, when NBA players used to stay in college for 3 or 4 years back, then fans got to know them, they built connections, they watched these players develop. That's exactly what's happening with Caitlin Clark, and Bill Simmons nailed this point perfectly. When Clark steps onto a WNBA court, fans already know her story. They've watched her hit those long-range threes in college, they've seen her overcome challenges, they've witnessed her growth. Compare that to NBA rookies who play 1 year of college ball, if that before jumping to the pros. The connection just isn't there. Here's something mind-blowing that Simmons pointed out. Take someone like Victor Wanyama, incredible talent, right, future superstar, no doubt, but how many casual fans actually watched him play before he got to the NBA? Now think about Caitlin Clark. People have been following her career for years, so when she plays, it's more than just a game, it's an occasion. Speaking of those occasions, when Clark faced the LA Sparks, it wasn't just another rookie debut. It was a must-see TV show, even during what many referred to as her struggling period. What's really amazing about all of this is that the WNBA almost unintentionally created a perfect storm for star power. Think about its shorter season, meaning every game matters more, faster-paced games that actually end on time, no endless fouling in the last 2 minutes, players who give it their all because they can't rely on pure physical dominance. She was putting up numbers that veterans dream about, and then came that game against the Washington Mystics, you know, the one right after she didn't make the Team USA roster. Simmons also made the insightful comment that, despite what it may seem like, the WNBA is really simpler to follow than the NBA. Instead of having 10 games going on at once, you might have 2 or 3, and instead of the games taking 3 hours, you can actually keep track of what's happening without it becoming a full-time job. Now, let's talk about something that's worrying NBA executives. The league has been trying to produce young stars for years, pushing certain players and giving them primetime slots and endless marketing campaigns. But here's Caitlin Clark becoming one of basketball's biggest stars naturally without any of that artificial promotion. She's doing it the old-fashioned way, by being so good that you can't ignore her. Remember when Clark hit those consecutive 30-footers to win the game? That wasn't just highlight reel material. That was the kind of moment that creates lifelong fans. Kids weren't just watching, they were practicing those shots in their driveways the next day. That's the kind of impact that can't be manufactured. And here's another thing Bill Simmons touched on that's absolutely crucial. The WNBA schedule actually helps players maintain their intensity. When you're playing 82 games plus playoffs, load management becomes a necessity, but with a more focused schedule, players can go all out every single night. That's what fans want to see. The numbers don't lie. When Clark plays, people watch, not just women's basketball fans, not just basketball fans. We're talking about casual sports fans, people who've never watched a WNBA game before. She's doing what the NBA desperately wants its young stars to do, bringing in new audiences. Think about this. After her first 10 games in the WNBA, Clark wasn't just good, she was dominant. We're talking about a rookie coming in and immediately changing how teams had to play defense. She wasn't just scoring, she was controlling entire games. That's unheard of for a rookie in any professional league. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the excitement she brings to every game. When Clark has the ball, everyone in the arena knows something special might happen. That's the kind of electricity that sells tickets, drives ratings, and builds league. Simmons suggests that perhaps the NBA should consider fewer games, because he's onto something that prioritizes quality over quantity and makes every game matter, which is what Clark and the WNBA are demonstrating can work. The WNBA has never had anything like this before. Let's talk about what this means for the future of basketball. The most intriguing aspect of all of this is how young players are being impacted for years. The route to basketball success was obvious. 1 year of college followed by a direct NBA career, but Clark's performance suggests there may be another route. Continue attending college. Build your brand in college. Connect with fans before entering the professional ranks as a fully developed star. Here's another intriguing aspect of Clark's success. She's not only revolutionizing women's basketball, but basketball in general. She's demonstrating that basic skills, shooting prowess, and basketball IQ can be just as thrilling as highlight dunks, demonstrating that you don't have to be the most athletic player on the court to be the most captivating. The impact is already apparent. Youth basketball programs are reporting more girls signing up than ever before, but it's not just girls. Boys are watching Clark too. They're studying her shooting form, trying to copy her range. That's what a true basketball phenomenon looks like. What Bill Simmons really exposed isn't just about Clark's popularity, it's about how the entire sports landscape is changing. Fans want authenticity, they want to feel connected to the athletes they watch. They want games that matter, players who hair and moments that make them jump out of their seats. Think about what this means for the future. The WNBA has always been fighting for attention, fighting for respect. Now they've got something the NBA desperately wants: a young superstar who's actually moving the needle, a player who's not just great, but genuinely compelling to watch. And here's the thing about Clark, she's just getting started. This isn't some flash in the pan. She's not riding a wave of hype, she's backing it up with performance after performance. Each game she's showing new aspects of her game, proving she belongs not just in the conversation of great WNBA players, but in the conversation of great basketball players, period. The really exciting part: this is just the beginning. If Bill Simmons is correct, as the statistics indicate, we are witnessing the beginning of something genuinely unique in basketball history. This isn't just about women's basketball anymore. It's not just about the WNBA versus the NBA. It's about the future of the sport itself. Clark is demonstrating what is possible when you combine genuine talent with authentic star power. Whether they want to acknowledge it or not, everyone in the basketball world is talking about Clark because she is not only shattering records but also altering our perception of basketball fame. Let's consider the implications of this situation for the next generation of basketball players. The previous model was to be the most athletic, jump the highest, run the fastest, but Clark is demonstrating to children worldwide that there is another route to basketball greatness, one that involves skill, basketball IQ, and working hard to improve your craft. What's most intriguing about this whole situation is how it's influencing college basketball recruiting. More elite players are beginning to reconsider rushing to the pros. They're witnessing how Clark established her brand and followed her legacy while still in college, which is something that cannot be purchased. Bill Simmons also mentioned another point that merits greater attention: the way Clark manages pressure. Consider this: she's not just playing basketball. She's carrying the hopes of an entire league and sport on her shoulders, and rather than collapsing under that pressure, she's thriving. That's the hallmark of a true superstar. Additionally, let's not forget about the influence on sponsorship and marketing in women's basketball. Before Clark, when Bill Simmons notes that Clark is a bigger star than any young NBA player, he's not just making a controversial statement. He's highlighting a fundamental shift in how we consume and appreciate basketball. The real story here is not just that Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon, but that she's showing us what the future of basketball could look like: more skilled, more strategic, more compelling, and perhaps even more inclusive than ever before. WNBA players struggled to get major endorsement deals, and now companies are lining up to be associated with women's basketball. That's the kind of change that can completely transform a sport.